Maintaining a beautiful and healthy aquarium goes far beyond feeding the fish and turning on the filter. Sometimes everything seems fine until the water gets cloudy, algae takes over, and the fish start acting strangely. What many people don't know is that experienced aquarists follow simple but extremely effective habits that prevent these problems before they even arise. They don't rely on luck or expensive equipment. The secret lies in small adjustments to their routine that make a huge difference in water quality, fish well-being, and the appearance of the aquarium. In this video, you'll learn 7 tricks used by those who truly understand aquarium keeping. And best of all, they're easy to apply, even if you're a beginner. Each tip can save you hours of headaches and keep your aquarium running like clockwork. If you want a stable, beautiful aquarium with healthy fish, stick with me until the end. These tips can completely change the way you care for your aquarium.
1. Split water changes. Less stress and more stability. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is changing the water all at once, in large volumes and at long intervals. Professionals prefer to do smaller, more frequent changes, typically 10% to 20% of the water per week. This helps maintain more stable parameters and reduces stress on the fish. This trick is especially useful in planted aquariums or those with sensitive species that cannot tolerate sudden changes in pH or temperature. Furthermore, by dividing the change in the phases, the risk of osmotic shock is drastically reduced. Want to make things even easier? Many experienced aquarists use siphons with hoses connected directly to the drain or garden, making the process quick and convenient. No buckets around the house. If your aquarium experiences fluctuating water quality, this simple routine adjustment can completely transform the environment.
2. Weekly testing, the trick to avoiding unpleasant surprises. Many aquarium problems don't become visible until it's too late. A fish may appear healthy one day and float the next. What do professional aquarists do to avoid these kinds of surprises? Simple. Regular water testing, at least once a week. Test kits measure essential parameters such as ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, pH, and water hardness. If something isn't ideal, you can correct it before it affects your fish. For example, ammonia levels above 0 ppm are toxic. Nitrate levels above 40 ppm can stress your fish and promote algae growth. The pH also deserves attention. Most tropical fish thrive in a pH between 6.5 and 7.5, with a temperature around 76 degrees Fahrenheit to 27 degrees Fahrenheit, or 24 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. If the pH fluctuates too much or the temperature changes abruptly, the fish react negatively. Testing the water isn't a sign of obsession, it's a practical way to maintain control. After all, professionals know that balanced aquariums don't maintain their balance on their own. They require constant monitoring. 3. Controlled feeding. Less is more, always. Overfeeding is one of the most common mistakes among beginners, and one of the most dangerous. Professional aquarists follow a simple rule: feed sparingly and precisely. Instead of overfilling the aquarium with food, they offer only what the fish can consume in 2 to 3 minutes. Excess food accumulates at the bottom, rots, and increases ammonia and nitrate levels. The result? Cloudy water, bad odors, and stressed fish. Furthermore, leftover food becomes a feast for unwanted snails and seaweed. Another professional trick is to vary the diet. Instead of just dry food, they alternate it with gel food, live or frozen foods like brine shrimp, bloodworms, and dapnia. This improves coloration, strengthens the immune system, and stimulates the fish's natural behavior. The diet also adjusts to the water temperature. For example, in tropical aquariums at 78 degrees Fahrenheit or 25.5 degrees Celsius, fish metabolism is more active. At lower temperatures, however, they eat less. Knowing this avoids waste and digestive problems. Less food means less waste, better water quality, and healthier fish. Professionals know this, and their aquariums thank you. 4. Proper lighting. The secret to preventing algae and stress. Overlighting is a subtle mistake, but it can lead to major problems. Professional aquarists strictly control daily light levels, keeping the aquarium lit for a maximum of 6 to 8 hours a day. This is enough for plants to photosynthesize while also preventing excessive algae growth. Too much light, especially over 10 hours a day, creates a perfect environment for green algae to cover glass, substrate, and even fish. Furthermore, prolonged exposure makes fish more agitated, affecting their natural resting behavior. Another trick professionals use is to install automatic timers. This ensures the light always turns on and off at the same time, creating a consistent aquarium routine. This reduces stress on fish, which become better at recognizing feeding and resting times. It's also important to adjust the light intensity according to the type of aquarium. Planted aquariums require brighter lighting. Aquariums for decorative fish can use softer lights, with LEDs ranging from 6,000 K to 7,000 K, simulating natural light. In aquariums, controlling light isn't just about aesthetics, it's about balance and well-being for the entire system.
5. Quarantine for new fish, the practice that prevents tragedies. Experienced aquarists never place new fish directly into the main aquarium. First, they undergo a quarantine period, usually lasting 2 to 4 weeks, in a separate container with a heater and a sponge filter. This simple precaution prevents the introduction of diseases, parasites, and bacteria that can decimate the entire aquarium. Even fish purchased from reputable stores can carry itch, worms, or invisible infections. Sometimes fish appear healthy but are only in the incubation period. Quarantine allows you to calmly observe the fish and begin preventative treatment if necessary. The temperature during quarantine is usually slightly higher, around 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 26.5 degrees Celsius, to speed up the fish's metabolism and, if pathogens are present, shorten the parasite's life cycle, making control easier. It's a simple but functional environment, undecorated, with soft light and clean water. Furthermore, quarantine helps the fish recover from the stress of transport before facing the competition and hierarchy of the main aquarium. Ignoring this step can be costly. Anyone who has lost valuable fish due to a hasty introduction understands why this trick is standard practice among professionals. 6. Water pre-treatment. Care that begins before changing the water. Every aquarist knows they need to use chlorine conditioner, but professionals go further. They prepare the new water in advance, adjusting the temperature, pH, and even hardness before even adding it to the aquarium. This practice prevents shock to the fish and keeps the system stable. When changing the water, especially in tropical aquariums kept between 76 degrees Fahrenheit and 27 degrees Fahrenheit, or 24 degrees Celsius and 27 degrees Celsius, pouring cold tap water directly into the tank can cause thermal shock, affecting the fish's immune system. Therefore, professionals let the new water sit for a few hours or use heaters until it reaches the ideal temperature. In addition to the temperature, they test the pH of the tap water and make adjustments with buffers, if necessary, to bring it back to a similar temperature to the aquarium water. A difference in pH, even a small one, can cause stress or even chemical burns in more sensitive fish.
Another common detail among professionals is the use of conditioners that also remove heavy metals and ammonia, especially in cities with more aggressive water treatment systems. Treating water carefully before use isn't overkill, it's preventative care. And in aquariums, prevention is always less work than correction.
7. Daily observation, the most powerful and most ignored habit. The simplest and perhaps most important trick is to observe your fish every day. Professional aquarists dedicate 5 to 10 minutes a day to carefully inspecting their tank. Behavior, coloration, breathing, swimming habits, and even checking for trapped feces or wounds. Small changes are early warning signs. A fish that stops eating, hides more than usual, or starts floating on its side may be sick, even if the water appears perfect. Catching this early can make all the difference between a simple treatment and a total loss. Furthermore, daily observation helps you notice temperature fluctuations. For example, if the thermometer reads 82 degrees, 27.7 degrees Celsius for days in a row for no apparent reason, something may be wrong with the heater or ventilation system. This routine also helps professionals spot equipment failures, a filter that's lost flow, a stuck thermostat, or even a water level dropping too low due to evaporation. This observation time isn't just technical, it also strengthens the connection with the animals. It's when the aquarist stops being just someone who takes care of fish and becomes an active part of the ecosystem. These 7 tricks don't require expensive equipment, but rather attention, routine, and knowledge. They're practices that transform an ordinary aquarium into a balanced, beautiful, and healthy system. Which of these habits do you already apply to your aquarium? Or do you have any other tricks you've learned over time? Comment below. And if you want more practical tips like these, subscribe to the channel. The content here is straightforward and designed for those who take fish keeping seriously.